In this video, I'm going to show you how Ada can enable you to calibrate your datasets with a standard curve. So this is really useful when you're growing your cultures to high density because of the non-linear measurements which are taken when you use optical density for measuring growth. This is because obviously when your culture becomes denser, the light can't penetrate as well. So that means, your spec might be reading your optical density to be at 3, but actually it might be at 8 or even 9. So in order to get round this problem, you make a standard curve. Some photobioreactors, such as Algenuti's Algem Pro, lets you make a standard curve and load it up as part of their software. But I don't believe Algenuti's HU24 lets you do this, and I'm not sure about the other photobioreactors. So that doesn't matter because you can do it in Ada instead. And so here I'm going to show you an example of a standard curve, which I've made here. So in this scenario, and this is the template you need to use to be compatible with Ada, you take the absorbance in the photobioreactor, which is doing these automated recordings, and you can do two things. You can either take out a sample and do a cell count under the microscope and count how many cells you've got in that sample, or what I have actually done here instead is I've taken my culture, my dense culture, I've diluted it down, and I've measured what the real optical density is on a different laboratory spec, and so that's enabled me to basically know exactly what the optical density actually is. So, for example, in this scenario, I got my dense culture and I diluted it down by half, and then half again, then half again, then half again, and each time I diluted it further in my laboratory spec and took a reading. So if I actually plot what this looks like, you can see it looks a bit like this. So this is my the things that I actually was reading. This is a real optical density, and this is versus what it is being read as in my automated photobioreactor, or the Algem system. So you need to go do this, set it up how I've set it up here, and save it as your standard curve. And so what you then do is you select Add Calibration Curve in Ada, find your calibration curve. Here's my one. Remember what this looked like on this axis. I'm now going to make sure Ada is going to be plotting the calibration curve by going into my Axis tab and making sure it's on CD, or cell density, rather than OD. Select Plot. And you can see these units have really changed, and that this culture actually grew to a much higher density than these cultures because of my standard curve. So this is really useful, and if you have used Algenoti and your data already has a standard curve loaded in, this standard curve that you load here will override that. But if this will also work with H24 data or the industrial phytoplankton photobioreactor data as well, or even the manual template